Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Well, welcome again, everyone. The last panel of the day, and like we were discussing, we stand between the bar and the people. So I think while someone was telling me we need to raise the bar now to keep everyone engrossed, so we shall do that. I think there's enough and more already spoken about what the topic is. For the audience, they've heard on the customer experience side from the first panel to the media side in the second panel. This is about creativity. So please get creative in your answers. So, just to begin with, I'm a creative at heart, business in mind. But I firmly believe in one thing, which is saying, when it comes to brands actually connecting with consumers, creativity is the key. That actually makes you really stick in people's mind and actually shift preferences to brands. That's one thing that will never change. I guess that's one thing that's stayed true for years. But also, honestly, one thing's changing drastically and at a very feverish pace is this whole thing of technology coming into the picture, things changing, preferences changing. And I think things have been changing in the past too, but never so fast and never so rapid and never so, if I may say so, at a breakneck speed, right? Now, in that context, I've heard so many people, people who've been veterans in the industry saying, kya chal raha hai aajkal? Creativity to mar gayi hai. It's dead. But at the same time, you talk to a person in today's generation and you see some of the ideas that are being put out there and you see, I had never imagined something like this before. So just to get a point of view, and I'll start with you, Kavita. What's your sense on this thing if you hear saying, is creativity dead or is creativity thriving like never before? Complete tangents there, but your view on it.
That's a great kickstart. I think, Amit, I certainly believe that creativity is not dying. In fact, I think it's fabulous the way, the entire graph of creative storytelling has evolved over the years. I also think that it's really the creative lens that has changed, which is, the lens through which we are assessing creativity, that has transformed over the years. And why I say that, because I think the lines between physical and digital, human and technology, that is increasingly blurred. So therefore, creativity for me is what can be seamless across each of these spaces. And what I also feel is that, we were all part of the whole traditional linear storytelling, which is now passé. Because now each one of us, as you see, are on two screens at one point of time. So therefore, creativity or storytelling, is fluid and something that can actually move the narrative from one screen, to the other. And I think there are some great examples of brands who are creative in these ways. Finally, I also feel that it's extremely interactive, all thanks to social media and UGC. So therefore, even transforming the audience into co-creators is also creativity. So therefore, in sum, I think that the ambit of creativity is what has really transformed.
That's interesting. So basically, creativity, it's never been as creative, but the way it's being expressed is changing and the ambit's changing. Darshana, your view on this, once again to repeat, kya creativity dead hai ki zinda hai?
So, zinda bhi, I won't say it is dying, I won't say it's enhancing, I think it's evolving and evolving really fast. And, the way I look at it, and I'll give you a couple of, so creativity has couple of parts to it. One is just creative thinking. The other part is the entire process and execution. Now, when you're talking about creative thinking and, I don't know, are there any designers, creators on the house here? Anybody? So I thought a lot of Denso creative team will be here, but Amit, you didn't get that. So the creative side of thinking, and there is creative fatigue, there is creative block. What Gen AI does, and see, AI has been there. The new part, this whole Gen AI, and which I sometimes call it like a prompt engineering, is only helping them to think afresh, give more ideas. So there is a side to it which is sort of, evolving, supporting, helping. In fact, to the extent, in my office, and today we had our board results, and like every time, every quarter, last week the finance guys will come and say, Ki ma'am, tell your team ki presentation bana do. Now, this presentation bana do time is changing, because why now you go and use Canva? I've trained them. So the non-creative guys also can now be a part. So it's almost expanding this journey. There is a lot of evolution. A lot of people can use these easy tools now, which is like earlier only a marketing or the creative team, and that you will see even at your side, because you do need the creators thinking. So I was with my ABFRL team, Amit, and the fashion team. I was doing the jury there. Now imagine we've launched an entire brand, entire line for our, that was for the winter collection through Gen AI. So I was asking them the same question. You think that, that means even I can today give that prompt and I can create a whole design? And they said, no, because the thinker's mind, the right brain, the creative guys can think, the way they can see the, visualization and the storyboarding. It's not going to be done by, somebody just coming from business side and doing. So there is a human side needed, but yes, it's evolving fast. And when I say evolving fast, where I'm talking about the second side, which is about the process. The process definitely is evolving, and how, like today, if we had to launch let's say we had to launch a line of apparel, it would take an entire 3 months. Today now they can do it in a week's time. Today at my own, side, the kind of, the briefs that you're writing, or as a client, I will come to you guys at the last moment and say, ki abhi ye turn around kar do. Earlier, even to launch a campaign, we would talk about 2 months and all of that, whilst the production time has not really shortened, but look at the process. You guys come and show us things, the entire mood board on Mid-Journey. You guys are talking about, using various open, chat GPT and things like that. So the process has given us two things. One is cost efficiency, and the other is speed to market. And so I have 150 people in my team. And the thing that I am really worried is that I have, out of that 100 people are really agency brief, agency pushers as we call them. I've got all of them trained on Canva. So because we are highly intermediated, so all those kind of things where day in and day out I have to do content, the 200 pieces of content, the 200 pieces of banners monthly that we do, yes, for sure that I'm creating a whole Gen AI studio in-house. I'm definitely looking at cost efficiency. We are learning as we are moving ahead, but at the same time, I feel that there is a whole evolvement, and the evolution is on, and it's fast. It can disrupt.
And interesting points made there on how things are changing, and you already touch on my next question, which is on we're talking about any conversation, even I think grocery shopping. AI just cannot elude. We cannot elude, right? It has to be part of the conversation. So if AI, and my next question is to you, Tejas, is that we're hearing so much about AI. We're talking about generative AI changing creativity to a different level. Darshana spoke about it at length also. But there are two sides to it, right? Which is one, the efficiency side, and one is the creative brilliance side. And if you can just touch on your view on this, because we're talking about Gen AI and saying it'll become far more efficient, etc. But there are some brilliant things also that it can do. So your view on it?
Yeah, sure. I think just before that, just touching upon Darshana's point, right? She mentioned about large corporates restructuring the manpowers. I was just speaking to a friend last week, and he's a startup agency guy. I used to work with him earlier. He also said that same thing. His hiring has changed in a way that he doesn't hire someone just with one skills, but he hires with someone who has a skill, who can prompt engineer quickly, briefs out, or that's the change. And I think we're seconding that, because just realized this. On your question, I think I'll break it down into two parts. So essentially, where AI comes in for us at Unilever, and especially at e-commerce. So we use AI largely right now to build in those efficiency frameworks. We run a lot of campaigns, and tons of creatives are there. So just an example, we have built a system where we ingest a lot of creatives at once. We have factored a couple of 5 to 6 parameters each creatives entails, and layered in with the actual data. So basically click-through rates layered to it, and we now know that which is the best creative includes what all components. So now the brief is very simple, that get this creative, whatever the gist is of that, and these are the 5 mandatory components which will optimize for performance. So that's something which we build, and that's the first part where we are more efficient. We know what is the best creative, right? But the second is obviously, I mean, which is the ad which we all memorable, right? There are these jingles which we play around, and they, decades we know the ad. And I don't think AI has reached to that stage where you can create memorability. So yes, human touch is irreplaceable for now. And what we do is that then once we know which is the best 5 metrics or 5 components in the creative, we add a human angle to it. Is it relatable? Is it impactful? When we do our testing, all this is there. And then a combination of is what we deploy. So while technology is there, but I think it's more on the back end, but the front end or the final outcome has a significant human layer.
So what I hear you saying is efficiency, definitely a yes. When it comes to brilliance, you need a lot of human in it. And that's an interesting perspective. But Ruchi, from your perspective, again, the question is similar. We're talking about generative AI. We're talking about 2 completely contrasting things, right? Which is efficiency and brilliance, creative brilliance. What's your take on it?
So I'll sort of take forward from where Tejas left off, right? He spoke about in e-commerce, we have one asset now, we know how it can perform better. So from an efficiency angle, there are definitely 2 things that AI helps us do. One is save time, and second is save cost. And obviously, as you work with a big scale MNC, both these are very, very important to deliver, max out of. However, what we also do is, the consumer journey is all connected now. So they are on multiple platforms, etc. You want to make sure that they are getting a consistent message no matter where they see you. Now, if I make one creative and I put it across, say, a Meta platform or a YouTube or GDN, anywhere, they all have their own efficiency parameters as to what will make a good creative. So you can train the AI to make sure that it makes these adapts for you real quick, keeping all the baseline requirements in place. However, I'll take an example of a recent campaign that we've done in a recent launch, which is Visible White Purple. So as we launched that, we've identified who are our key target audiences, right? So, okay, beauty mavens is what we go after. But under that cohort, there are sub-cohorts. Now, everywhere, we want to make sure that you get the right message as the audience. If you are a K-pop enthusiast versus someone who is interested in, say, dancing, or a Gen Zer, what you want, how you want the message relayed to you will be different. So this is still work that is happening. We've not cracked it yet, but definitely aspire to do it as soon as we can, where the human side of things is ensuring what that message will be. The AI side of it is how will that message then adapt and get displayed to the right cohort with the right setting, the right images and everything else. So I think that's where when you do churn out close to 200 different adapts for a campaign, but how do you make them relevant to each of the cohorts? I think that's the next level.
That's true. I think it's a challenge, and I think we're moving there. How fast and how well will we do would be something to be seen. So we're talking about AI, we're talking about Gen AI, we're talking about broader things. Let's get specific, right? Is it being used in our daily lives? Is it being used for our brands? Is it being used to actually operate in our businesses? It could be example from the business you are in, or it could be somewhere outside. Megha, your take on it. Love to hear. How are you using it, or how are you seeing it being used around you?
So I would definitely resonate with the other panel members. It's a journey. Like Darshana said, we are evolving, and there is no two way that we cannot adopt this, or we can say no, fine, we are in the old world. No, that there is no way. We have to adapt. Coming back to our organization, we sell a very complicated product, mutual funds. You know, everyone wants to become rich, but no one wants to invest for it. One example which we had recently, we were coming up with a retirement product. It was a new product launch, and apparently the research says that in India, people generally don't think about the retirement. What we think about is which is the next concert coming up, let's probably save for that. Which is the next gadget coming up, let's save some money for that. But when we talk about retirement, we know it is coming. It will come at 58, 60, some point in time, or probably early retirement, everyone talks. But when we will think about is just 5 years ahead of retirement, So we wanted to target to Gen Z and wanted to take social media as a platform. Our partner took a route of Midjourney, Kyber, and these kind of platforms, and we created the scenarios where a person in the age bracket of 30 to 35 doing a normal scenario, which is a shopping, travel, leisure, and the same person through the AI doing the same thing in his retirement age. Just showing the transformation that this is also possible. If this is possible, this is also possible. Another one, someone in the earlier panel talked about the animals. We have also used those kind of things where we have said that heavyweight, showing the elephant in a very cute form, he's going for a travel, and a cat in a zooming car saying that zoom up with your investment. So those are the very cute ones which you would stop while scrolling onto the social media once or twice at least, but have made an impact for us. But is that only AI? No, the part of that how the research has happened in the retirement, where the data is coming up, how the expertise of the human is there, that why people are not thinking about the investments, is the human touch which is there. So that cannot be replaced for sure.
Interesting. I think interesting to see that you saying AI is being used now, which is great. But that's not it. That's not the only thing.
And to the complicated products like mutual funds.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Similar question, Kavita, to you. I'm saying we've spoken about AI. Love to hear anything that's happening around you or within the organization.
Yeah, so I think, so as everyone knows, L&T Finance is in lending space, and therefore for us, the use of AI, machine learning, or data analytics plays a pivotal role in, transforming the lending landscape. And we've done good work in that direction. Recently, we launched RAISE, which is an AI initiative, and you are part of that. It's essentially Rising with AI, and hence RAISE. Now, that's a platform where we actually showcased or demonstrated innovative technologies, with the use of AI, but applicative AI. And that, I think, is a huge differentiator as to how is it that it can be applied to various business processes. And, we being L&T Finance, having this vision of, being a digitally native organization. So we've tried to actually imbibe AI across our consumer journey. So be it onboarding or risk and credit assessment, or even engagement with our consumers. At each stage, we have deployed AI. And a great example of that is, again, last quarter, we launched Project Cyclops, which is essentially a credit engine. It's an advanced credit engine which does the risk assessment of consumers. I don't know in this room how many of you all would be aware of, let's say, your credit score, and there are so many people who are still new to credit. It's very important to explore the possibilities of getting them into the fold, and that's really what this engine does. So it's obviously a credit engine which is a multi-dimensional, and it's the first of its kind. It looks at your liabilities data, it looks at credit bureau, and all of this is, of course, with the consent of the consumers. Also trust signals, and these are your expense behavior. It also looks at geolocational intelligence to be able to accurately assess the risk of an individual. And I think that is a huge differentiator, because what it does is that it helps us to actually service a very large demographic. And just a numbers sense, we got a 34% increase in those who were new to credit with the launch of Project Cyclops. So I think that's where, you can make a lot of business impact through the initiative. And one that I'm really excited about is what we just launched, in the same quarter, which is a knowledgeable AI, and it's called Kai because it's knowledgeable AI, and we're very good at branding. And thanks to Amit's team, we get the right names. Again, this, I don't know if you would have experienced this. It's on our website. It's very different from a standard chatbot. So it's actually it's a reimagined chatbot, because what it does is it uses large language models. And, it's so conversational that it's adaptive, it's very well, interactive. And the great part is that it understands multiple languages. So it'll converse with you in Hindi, in English, which is really what, our consumers relate to. And because of that, it's actually able to offer customized solutions in the way they understand, because it's got this conversational, engine, which actually understands the way humans commute. And that's really the differentiator as compared to most of the standard chatbots that, you would have experienced. So I think, therefore, these are all the use cases that we've deployed. And of course, in marketing, like we all spoke about, using the propensity models, which helps us to sort of segment consumers, or it's obviously, all the machine learning models. And that obviously helps us to hyper-personalize communication. We've been doing that across each of our user groups because, we have a huge presence both in the urban and in the, rural segment. So therefore, hyper-personalization is extremely important. And finally, I think we're also now sort of looking forward and having this predictive analytics, which actually helps us to understand what are the future conversion trends. So these are, some of the use cases, and there are many more that, we have actually demonstrated in Raise, and therefore, it's a lot of work that's happening in that direction.
It's fascinating actually to hear all this, because it's not about the future. We're talking about here and now. And we heard about AI in communication. We're hearing about AI in business. So it is now what we're dealing with it. That takes me to the next question. When we talk about AI, it almost feels like the aliens are taking over the world, right? And soon the human race will get eradicated and it'll be aliens ruling the world. Is it true, Darshana? Is it true that with AI, or what is the human play, if I may ask so? Like there is a AI, there is a cold side to tech, and then there is a human side. What's your view on where will we end this world in? Will we survive?
Fortunately, Amit, actually, we are all human beings sitting here, and I'm all human beings hearing, and we will have drinks also as human beings, which is good news. So see, look at the way things have evolved, right? It has been era after era, whether it was all human, the web and digital side came in. So we still had human, we still wanted human, we wanted the touch and feel. The apps world came in, voice came in. I think till then we still had the human voice. And in the past, when the AI, the first leg of AI came in 8-10 years back, and that's where the whole voice to bots and the voice and bots started coming in together. And then came the world of avatars, and now the whole generative AI. So yes, is there a reality, and which is anyways told that we will have I know in a year time, I don't know, you will have half Gen AI people here and, human beings sitting together and having this conversation and feeling that which one is better. No, but having said that, honestly, it's completely a very new road. But yes, are human beings going to get, and because we're talking creative over here, had we spoken service, it's already been done. A lot of disruption, because you can see omni-channel, bots are there, bots are servicing, bots are talking. That world is already there and the roles have changed. Look at contact centers, all the customer, we have more and more bots. So that bit is already taken over and it's only getting more. But creative side, Amit, so I can tell you what we are doing. I don't think human can completely go away, and I don't believe, because you do need that authenticity. So in my case, we are today teaching the AI bots to learn on the brand language. The images, you can today make out how a generative AI image is looking to an actual human that you would have taken. So what I saw last November to what I saw last week, huge change. But yes, it is as fast, and very soon I will be saving cost on the image bank. I'll stop doing shoot and I will have my AI, we're training them to have my brand language right, have that human face completely like a human, and all of that. So those kind of things, yes, personalization. We are definitely training for personalized nudges. I do want more and more AI and, bring in the efficiency. But can I completely say that no? Because the authenticity, the emotion, the intuition is still human. I don't think today, and I can be wrong because I don't know what China and US is doing and India getting on the whole AI war now. But today in the creative side, I still feel that human touch is needed. It's not completely dying because you have to be authentic. The reason I'm not allowing my teams to use the Gen AI image because it's not looking authentic. It is looking generative AI. So that bit, I still feel that we will have people, but yes, we'll have to be ready for skills which are the repetitive, and that will start getting reduced. And we will need to be ready for that world too.
Fair point. At least we survive. So it's good point here saying, it's human, but skilled differently possibly. Ruchi, same question to you, right? Which we're talking and, enough and more is being debated. But what's your view on AI coming in, role of human in all of this?
So I think AI has been this shiny word which is doing the rounds, and I'm sure you guys have heard this since morning as well. But really what we need to think about is how do marketing and AI come together as a union, as one, because there is really no marketing without AI anymore as we go into the future. So one cannot exist without the other, at least in the foreseeable future. As marketers, we always think about meaningful customer experiences. I think that's what we all strive for. We make sure we drive awareness, we drive conversion, engagement with consumers, and obviously how do we generate consumer delight. But what AI does for us is make this whole journey connected. So how do you talk to the person in the way they want, and how do you customize it to a level where it seems very personal? So that's the part that AI brings to life, which as human beings, we cannot customize at that level. I can roll out one TV commercial or, maybe make 5 copies on digital based on maybe Tamil Nadu needs something else and West Bengal has a different cultural nuance and I need to activate that. But in every region of Tamil Nadu, can you speak the right dialect and can you give the right message? I think that's beyond what we can do. So while humans definitely bring 3 strengths which AI cannot compensate for, and one would be consumer inciting, second would be strategy, and third I would say would be creative problem solving. So that's not something that AI can do for us, but definitely there is so much data present now, and if we don't work with it, someone else will, and someone else will get ahead of us. So it's about, the whole game is now about how do you integrate it as a part of everyday marketing, rather than think about it as, what will it do for me, what will it do for my jobs? Because the one who will win is the one who will be able to integrate it not only faster but also better.
Interesting. I think what you're saying also integrated within the everyday rather than once in a while, which is interesting, Ruchi. My next question, Tejas, I'll start with you. So, we've seen so much change. We've seen change at a different pace. We're talking about technology, we're talking about AI, and in the middle of all creativity. And I think, we've held together ourselves pretty decently, if I may say so. What is your, suggestion or a recommendation to some of the younger marketers who are sitting out there and saying, how do I, straddle through my phase and my journey, because they're born in this era. So what's your suggestion there?
I think with any technology, right? I mean, I think we discussed a lot of things have changed, right from voice bots and other things. With all technology, I think the basic suggestion, you definitely use it. Understand the good and bad. Obviously, it is a journey. Like all of us are going through that journey right now. We are understanding the good, we are understanding the bad, right? So, for instance, in AI and creativity, I think the good is that for an artist, you are becoming the best version of yourself. AI unlocks so many tools, and you become the best version of yourself. But on the other side, we also need to know that in creativity, there are a lot of these privacy concerns and copyright issues And obviously the environment. I mean, with DeepSeek, apparently 90% is going to get away, but DeepSeek have other issues. But yeah, so there are these issues where, at least keep questioning them that, what about my privacy? What about copyright in this? So yeah, as a young marketer, you definitely use it, but keep questioning the bad. And so that all of us evolve and, the technology improves, because all the technology doesn't come perfect. It obviously has to improve.
I love that perspective, saying keep questioning. I think it's not that you're getting it absolutely perfect. Things have to evolve. Megha, to you on the same question, I'm saying, where do you get such a panel, and if there's a point of view for some of the young marketers to understand and learn?
So I will have probably 3 points to say here. One is embrace technology and do not let your humanity die. It is going to be there. All AI can remix your past data, insights, all elements. It's like Bombay Bhel. They mix everything and probably serve you the refreshed look. But you as a human has a power to think, innovate, and put up a fresh stuff and be creative. Second is keep learning. As a marketer, like Darshana also said, we have to keep learning. We cannot say that, okay, fine, we have done this and we learned everything. Technology is constantly changing. Consumer behavior is changing. Their consumption pattern is changing. To keep up with the pace, we have to keep learning and we have to keep evolving. Third one is do not lose the sight of a long term in terms of getting some gains in the short term. Sometimes, we get rushed towards AI. We want to have the things fastened, but at the heart, we need to know we are the marketers, we are the brand builders. To create a brand loyalty, to create a brand, it takes a lot of human touch. It takes a lot of emotions which goes into the play. So that shouldn't be forgotten. So that 3 things I would probably tell to all young marketers here.
I like this marketing side of 3 things, bullet points de diya, ab chalo kaam bana ke leke aana. Anyone else? Any suggestions from Darshana, Kavita, Ruchi to some of the budding marketers? I'm just throwing this question at you.
See, so one of the things, and actually COVID also has taught us that today all this technology, digital, all that is no more a department or a function. It's not that my digital team or the technology team will come and show us, and then it's a mindset. So definitely it is not more anymore a vertical, it's a horizontal in any organization, and all the young marketers have to adapt to this mindset. So today, I was interviewing somebody and they said, I want to be a brand marketing. I was in a college and I only want to do brand marketing, and so there is nothing called as only brand marketing and the whole pure play, that the sexy, creating the large TV campaign, gone are those days. So she mentioned, you will have to integrate. So the first thing is the change in mindset, that we have to have digital thinking, and that's why we will have to dabble ourselves. I don't think today we can wait ki acha brief de diya agency leke aayegi. If we don't do it ourselves, we don't dirty our hands ourselves, I don't know how we can, grow. So that mindset first will definitely have to be changed, has to change for the young ones. Otherwise you become a dinosaur. Secondly, because things are changing so fast, one has to create fungible skills. Today, again, I cannot see today what has also happened for CMOs. If you don't understand business, there is no pure play CMO. Your role itself is redundant because the boards don't let you, sit there. You don't have a seat in the leadership. So with that game changing, that you have to understand business, you have to understand technology, and you also have to understand consumer. Because I was just reading last week that we have Gen A, Alpha, and now Gen Beta, who's born in diapers, in January 2025. Imagine the world, it's scary. For marketers that we have to constantly learn, unlearn that we were just discussing, कि 10 minute में mobile phone चाहिए, iPhone 16, 1.5 lakh. I mean, what consumer are we now talking to? Convenience at what level? And that is expected even in the industry like mine, which is financial services. So I want claim, I want to see the transparency on the claim like you get on Swiggy. So if that's the world we are living in.
Yeah.
So there are absolutely 3 facets to it. The mindset, who is your consumer and how are you being relevant and how are you constantly, ready to integrate and adapt to this ever-changing world. It's not easy, but that's what the young. So you can't come defined anymore.
Yeah.
You have to be adaptable.
Interesting. Any quick points,
I
Kavita,
think
Ruchi?
most of it is said. I just feel that it's not either or. I think what's really important is that it's an oxymoron to say that one can coexist without each other, and therefore I think we are all in a way evangelists for taking the AI and integrating into everything that we do. And if one has that kind of intent, I think everything is achievable. I think that's the key
Nicely
take.
put. Ruchi? Yeah.
Just quickly add again to Tejas's point where governance I think becomes extremely important because we love this fancy tool and in all our excitement we have a lot of data that we are also feeding in. So how do we do it in a safe environment knowing that a lot of times consumers give us their data and how we use it. Also the output that comes out, are we sort of stress testing it before we put it out there. So governance from all ends is extremely critical, far more than before when we were controlling the entire narrative in a situation like this.
I think interesting point. So thank you for this conversation. My last question, one sentence answer from all of you. I'll start with you, Megha, and then we'll follow. What would you prefer, given a choice? A simpler world, which is creatively pure, if I may say so, but a complex world which creatively is very, very fertile, whatever is happening now. What would you prefer? What would you go with?
I think probably we answered this, but I'll try and say it in a one line. I'll say it in Hindi and then translate for everyone. It's a संतुलन जो है ना वो जादू और इल्म का होना चाहिए. इल्म is a ज्ञान. जादू जो है वो हमारे पास है, ज्ञान जो है वो AI के पास है.
ये marketed है.
Equilibrium
तीसरा choice
between
दिया
the
नहीं था
magic
आपने
and the
बोलो.
knowledge. So that's what I would probably say.
Interesting. Darshana?
Yeah, I think I want the best of both worlds because you
Okay.
can't just be in one world anymore. And I'm happy to become that new avatar. So I want the best of both worlds.
Kavita?
Likewise, I think it's actually a collaboration between AI and humans. So I think it's the right mix, which I think is what I would go for.
Ruchi?
Yeah, I think marketing is always on the side of progress, so we'll keep moving ahead.
I like that. At least you picked a side. Tejasvi?
I think I rephrase my earlier answer. Human creativity at the front end and AI at the back end.
Okay, nice. Interesting. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.